So welcome to our 73rd meeting for the Working Group for National Committee Development in Europe, North and Central Asia. Another good turnout for this meeting as well as the last one, so thank you very much for taking the time. First item on the agenda really is to reflect on the last minutes of the meeting on the 17th of January. I'm sure you've all read them scrupulously because they're a fine record, may I say. What a fine record of the meeting they are. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Anne-Katrine. Is everybody happy with the contents and the accuracy of those minutes? Welcome, Boris. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Jesus. Nice to see you. If there are no comments, we'll take them as accepted as a correct record. There were only 3 actions arising. There's lots of very interesting content in there, but only 3 actions. I was tasked to open a dialogue with Gretel about the Power of the Union initiative. I have done that actually, and Gretel has given a presentation to the global group for National and Regional Committee Development. Perhaps, DJ, we could send a snippet of that meeting as a video. That might be helpful. Not that there was a great deal to say. The Power of the Union initiative, I think, is in its infancy, and still ideas are being generated at the moment, but it's something to keep an eye on, I think, is the message from that meeting. Good morning, Stephen, as well.
Morning, Chris. Morning, everyone.
Thank you. So the second action was that we agreed to pass over the organisation of the RCF to IUCN, to the Interregional Committee, to take forward. We'll be hearing more about that later in the meeting, but that action's been achieved. And the final one is to share any recent relevant developments on the implementation of the Global Biodiversity Framework. And that's an ongoing action, but I think we've got something to share with you from our meeting, again, a global group meeting, which we will share at an appropriate point. And there's possibly some other news on implementation of the Global Biodiversity Framework. You may have seen something in your email boxes today about Target 3, a group being formed to help understand and implement the GBF Target 3. If you haven't seen that, and you would like to, I'm sure we are being encouraged to share it, so happy to do that. Okay, so that's it on the minutes, unless anyone has any matters arising from them. Thanks, Boris. I have to leave at 10:30, so we'll romp along if we can. So the next item on the agenda is to record and note the departure of the Director General in December. You'll all have seen his message and also that of the President in this week. So this is an item really with any other significant news that the Secretariat might wish to bring forward at the beginning of the meeting, which might influence our agenda. So I'm looking at Boris and Sarah and Kostas, if there is anything you would like to say on these points.
Yes, so I just put it in the chat box. I have to leave at 10:30. So I might be able to join later. I'm really not sure about it. Well, I mean, as far as the Director General's departure, nothing to add. I mean, you received a note from the President as well, meaning Council. So basically, the ball is in their court. So they are to guide us sort of on the process ahead. And my understanding is that they want to have a swift process in place, which I think it's also, you know, we still have keep memories from the previous selection process that took way too long. So this time around to have things in place sooner and to have a smooth transition. So basically we will work toward that end. I mean, as far as the Secretariat is concerned, my remit, I send a message to colleagues that they have to double down, basically. So that's the best way to show the resilience of the union as such. Otherwise, waiting for any further notification from the council. The other one is then, yes, we send out a call for expressions of interest for RCF 24. I'm very happy there was a co-sign letter between the Secretariat, Regional Office, myself, and IUCN Chris. But also, Chris, your role in this working group is also something important. I mean, for me, this is really it's a joint effort. I mean, absolutely no doubt. We have a working group around it as we had last time, so we'll be sort of joint decision making. And so I just say that for various reasons, I made that comment that we should kind of appoint the regional office and secretariat as the focal point, because there will be a lot of administrative issues. There will be a signing documents, there will be a money transfers and everything, what requires basically the Secretariat to be behind it. So while I fully acknowledge the role of IUCN and any other structure that we have, that is very much to support it and co-own the process, I'd rather say that we still kind of, you know, stick to having the Secretariat as the focal point, you know, just a formality for me. Yet an important one. I mean, Sarah may want to add something on the part of the membership unit, because there is something that we probably follow across the board, yeah, with other RCFs. Other than that, I very much look forward to RCF, and I'm very happy that it's going to be a joint. Hi, Mood. There's going to be a joint thing. I mean, that's only one that is ahead of us. I mean, there is also Maud is joining some discussion about the 75th anniversary. I mean, 75th anniversary of IUCN is, you know, it's taking place as we speak. It's throughout the year. So for me, it would be good to have some effort along the lines, you know, throughout, not just as one-off, which is also important. And also there will be a Senka meeting in Yerevan. So there is a very interesting agenda for this year where really members having a key role and say. Last not least is something kind of, you know, something sort of fresh from the oven. There will be a message. Maher Majoub was appointed as the director of the Center for Mediterranean Cooperation. It's a part of a competitive process, so he was selected. And the reason that I'm joining at 10:30 is that I'm joining a staff meeting there with colleagues in Malaga, just to congratulate Maher and then have some discussion about it with them on how we make a smooth transition from what Alberto and the team left, you know, as a very strong legacy. Yeah, so that's all from me for now.
Thanks, Boris. Good news to have everything shipshape in the Mediterranean office. Very good news indeed. Thank you. And yeah, everything's going forward on the RCF according to plan, and we'll come back to that perhaps later in the agenda. Sorry, Chris, just very quickly, in not just responding to members' requests, but, you know, doing it because I think that I mean, I should have done it already before. I will also send a brief email about the organizational, I mean, change. It's not that much change. It's really organizational development that we are having in Europe vis-a-vis the European regional office. As you know, I'm based in Bonn. We also have Brussels. So
European Regional Office operates in 2 locations, but we're also making an effort on coordinating better across the 3 offices that are located in Europe. A European Regional Office, then Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and Belgrade, and Mediterranean Office in Malaga. So the 3 offices really working more closely and in a more coordinated way, something that we call a regional service hub for Europe, North Africa, and Central Asia. So that's where UCANA comes from. So there will be a brief succinct email to all members in these 2 statutory regions to explain in few details. And of course, I'm very happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Boris. You have reported on this previously, but any other questions for Boris while we have him? No. Okay, thank you. Thanks for that update, Boris. Much appreciated. Sarah, I've got you down for 4 separate items here because there's some big things going on that we'd all like to be engaged in and get updated on. I hope that's okay.
It's okay for me as long as you don't get bored with my voice, but I'll try and vary it as I go through it, but that's fine by me.
Never bored with your voice, Sarah. It's always interesting stuff. So can I ask you to talk about Engage?
Absolutely.
First of all, thank you.
Yes, thanks very much. Well, there's lots been going on our side of things to sort of move things forward with members and the commissions, you know, all of IUCN's constituents, and one of these things that we've been speaking about for a long time is a digital community platform, because we always all say and find that when we're at Congress, we're all there, we're all very excited, it's great to network with people, and then we want to carry that on, but we go back to our day jobs, and that sort of becomes a little more difficult. So what we've done is we've created this new platform, which is going to be officially launched tomorrow. It's going to be launched in stages. So for tomorrow, we're concentrating on the commissions, and then the members will come in a couple of weeks. But I can quickly show you the outline of the page to give you an idea if you would like that, if you think we have time. Otherwise, I'm happy to do that on a separate call. But shall I share my screen quickly to show you?
Yes,
okay, here we go. So it's quite similar to a sort of Facebook and LinkedIn page. Let me just, oh my goodness, I'm working on the smallest screen in the world here.
Have you got permission?
Sorry?
Is Anne-Catherine given you permission to share screen?
I think so.
I think you should be able to.
Yeah.
Good.
Here we go. I should be able to. Yes. Okay. I just make sure because I've got so many tabs open on my screen. So let's have a look and see here. Share. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So this is the homepage of the platform, and as you'll see, I hope it's quite intuitive. We've obviously tried, as with everything, to make it as simple and easy to use, because the simpler it is, the more likely everyone is to want to keep on using it. So if I just quickly I'll run through the sort of image tabs, and then I'll run through the tabs across the top. But there will be webinars, introductory webinars that are much more detailed, which we'll be sharing with you soon. We'll share the dates and the opportunity for you to sign up. As you land on the page, the first thing, obviously, is to ensure that people are clear about what the platform is. It is a place. We want it to be a safe space for all the constituents to be able to engage and collaborate with each other to move your work forward, but as well as that of the union, and of course the conservation of nature. In order to be able to actually sort of understand how the platform works, we've got a little introductory video which is available here, as well as a number of user guides in the 3 official languages. Just as I'm on the languages issue, we have actually incorporated Google Translate into this platform, because a lot of feedback we get when we speak to members is the fact that it's all very well having English, French and Spanish, but there are many other languages. And whilst Google's Translate isn't, of course, perfect, it will give people an idea of what content it is all about in their own languages. And it's very simple. You just click on the top right-hand tab here and you can select whatever language you want. And that means that you can post in your language and you can also read any of the content in your language. I mean, just to give you an example, I don't know Danish because I don't speak Danish at all, but Anne-Katrine can tell me yes or no here. But yes, so I could just click on that and see everything in Danish. And then once I want to come back to English, I can either click on English or just reset, which takes you back to the default language.
It looked okay in Danish.
It's okay in Danish. Great.
Yeah, it looked okay.
We've got this tab here. I mean, it's all very self-explanatory, but I shall run through it anyway. If you're new, it's similar to what I've just shown you about IUCN Engage, but it also gives you, for some reason my mouse isn't working here. There are documents as well available on the Getting Started page, which we will be adding to as time goes on, because we think we've covered everything, but of course, as you start using it, questions come up, and then we can develop new user guides for you just to help the whole experience improve. The way the platform is set up is we have a number of communities. We have communities that are through the constituent format. So we have members, commissions, and then we have also thematic communities, which are based on work that IUCN does. These thematic communities are actually open to everyone. The way that the platform also works is that you're able to create groups which can be tailored to specific interests. These can be open groups or closed groups. I know that for the commissions work a lot in closed groups, and these you will have to apply to join, and they'll be run by group managers. But these thematic communities are open to everybody, and you can join any one of those and have a look and see. You can start a discussion. You can join. You can comment on discussions that are already up there. You can create events linked to that. You can create events actually not just to these thematic topics, but also for anything that you're involved in. Sorry, just go back. So there will also be all the information relating to existing groups is currently that we currently have in IUCN is stored on our CRM, and we are drawing all the information that we have on there and syncing it with this Engage platform. This will also allow us to allow logins for people who aren't currently on our CRM, because how it works for members, for example, is that we have 4 official roles per member, and of course we want more people within an organization to be able to have access and use this platform. So if people aren't on our CRM at the moment, they won't have an IUCN login, but they will be able to apply for a login through the platform, and then that will be synced back into our CRM. So we really, we want to make it available to everybody. We carrying on through our little images here, quick links. Well, that's pretty obvious. If you want to go to a members area or to commissions area, you can click on that and it'll take you to the various groups that we have established on that. Tip of the week, we want to just keep it change things up a little bit, so we'll be adding new tips for people, because obviously we'll have people coming and going all the time, so it's not that we're all starting at zero and we'll all move together throughout the whole experience. People will be joining at different times, so we just put these hopefully helpful tips for you every week. If you are part of a community, you can follow groups, you can follow their discussions. If you want to see the information about all the groups that you're following, you can click on this, and this will take you to the page that shows you everything that's going on in the groups that you're following. And then we have also a resource library, which shows everything that has been posted on the platform, and publications as well that have been posted and published through IUCN. If we go further down,
can
sorry.
I interject?
Yes.
Just a question on, so specifically for national committees.
Yeah.
Are they a thematic community or part of the members area? They
will come under the members area, and that the reason that we will, they'll be coming under the members area, because it won't be automatic that people can join those, obviously, because similar to how they are run normally, only IUCN members within that national geographical area will be able to join, but we'll be pulling those from the CRM, and that's why we're doing this staged approach, because actually the committee pages aren't ready yet. But I was very keen to ensure that we have pages for the national and regional committees, because many of the committees don't have an online presence, and this will mean that it gives the same opportunity to everyone. But we will have a dedicated webinar on that as soon as that side of things is up and running.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here, further down the page, we have the events calendar, self-explanatory. You can, as I mentioned earlier, you can add any event. We also have the ability to have online webinars. We've integrated Zoom on the system, so that widens the opportunity, of course, for networking and interacting between the groups on the platform. And then it's also possible to find an expert. You can click on here, and you can search by filter or by specific expertise, and then that'll pull up. So, for instance, I don't know, water management is one that we always seem to use. Here we go, water management. I click on there, and then it will filter. I can filter that out, and it should have Emma, who is actually the manager for this whole platform. She's not a water expert, but anyway, we were using that as an example, and you'll get the opportunity to meet Emma at a later date. So it should help when people are looking for projects and connecting with or looking for people with a particular expertise. We will also be posting funding and grant opportunities, those both from IUCN, but also from people on the platform. And there's also the job board, which is not IUCN. It'll link to the IUCN page, but also anyone who would like to post jobs for their organisation will be able to post on here. We've also currently showing tweets from IUCN accounts. We've got 30 of those at the moment. If there's anything that you would like added, please do drop me a line, and we can get those included. And then there's a page of later content. As I keep saying, hopefully it's fairly intuitive, and it's once you go in there and start using it, you'll be able to find the pages that you're particularly interested in. These are the pages for creation of content, events and discussions, and you just click on those, and you just fill in the form, and then it posts it automatically. So I'm conscious of time. I won't speak about this anymore unless there are any questions that anyone has for now, but otherwise I will will say that there are webinars coming for members. If you're commission members as well, you will have received the notification for webinars that are taking place this afternoon and tomorrow morning. Don't feel excluded if you haven't, because there will be plenty of those coming forward.
Thanks, Sarah. That's excellent.
So
Like a huge LinkedIn for IUCN members.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Absolutely, yeah, we're really excited about it. So I really hope it, everyone finds it simple and straightforward to use, because as with everything, it's yet another platform or link to use. But as it grows, I think it will become more interesting, and it'll be hopefully the go-to when people think about IUCN.
As soon as you wake up in the morning, straight on
That's it, before you even get out of bed, because actually we are creating an app as well. That'll be coming soon, so you'll be able to have it on your mobile phone, so you won't even need to get out of bed before you come and check and see what's going on in the union.
The new alarm clock.
Exactly.
Alex has a question for you.
Thank you very much, Sarah, especially after your presentation. I'm also getting very much excited about this new platform and resource, and it really seems to be wonderful, and also overcoming that long-lasting problem of just 3 languages officially used in the IUCN. I have been suffering for quite a while. But my question is about the search for resources, because during the long time of the IUCN, a huge amount of different resources were accumulated, including those where IUCN is a part of. For instance, within our IUCN CEC work, and together with WCPA and other partners, we have the Nature for All and the Nature for All Discovery Zone, which has its own resource with a number of different materials, education materials, etc., on environmental things, which is not the IUCN on its own, so it's shared with others. Will this system allow to, to find or to be linked with those resources which have been accumulating for years in different places in the internet?
It is my understanding that it will, because there are specific spaces for the commissions themselves. At the moment, as I said, we're launching with a sort of minimum viable product, but it is my understanding that it will be able to draw in all the resources for each of the commissions, because obviously it's not helpful for you to have a space if you can't actually access all the information. I have made a note of this, however, and if that's not the case, we'll add it to our to-do, but I'll get back to you on that. But my understanding is that everything that is linked to the commissions should be able to be pulled into the platform as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
A question in the chat from Stephen.
So yes, Stephen, there will be areas for discussion for the RCFs. I mean, for me, I see this actually quite timely, because obviously we'll be talking about these quite a lot in the coming months, and I see this as an ideal space for exactly for that, because you'll be able to have conversations not only with fellow members but also with other commission members. Secretariat, council also have access to the platform. So I think this is actually the typical example of why we need to have such a platform, because it means that everyone can be there together. But short answer to that is yes.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
And possibly finally, unless Alex has got another question, is there anything at this stage that you would like us to do to promote it, or
I mean, promote it, by mentioning it, even if it's just sort of a general mention to people that you're speaking to. I would strongly encourage you to go onto the platform. I'll share the the link in the chat, and just have a look around. Everyone here does have IUCN logins, so you should be able to access that. You'll be able to go on and amend the details of your profile, but just go in and have a look and see how it feels, see if you think there's something missing, and so that when we do sort of go have the official launch for members, I mean here I'm speaking more on the member side, we'll have a group of us who are sort of ambassadors, if you like, and we'll be able to push that as much as possible. But for now, yeah, if you can familiarize yourselves, that would be great.
Thanks. I can see lots of benefits for us in the Secretariat for these groups, for our National and Regional Committee groups. And we'll have a chat with Anne-Catherine and DJ about how we can make the best use of this, certainly.
Yeah.
Alex, your supplementary question.
Yeah, I just wrote down, it's just how to say the overall concern, as far as I heard, there will be a lot of space for basically anyone to start discussion and to raise questions, etc. But there can be another side of a coin. Will there be a certain code of conduct or I don't know, similar things, certain rules, just to keep things within the frameworks of the IUCN?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when you first log in, you have to click, the adherence to the code of conduct, and also there are certain trigger words, of course, that will send an alert to us so that we can have an eye on, keep an eye on this. We will ask that conversations are moderated. So if you're going to start a conversation, that for you to keep an eye on it. If you find that the situation is getting a little bit uncomfortable, then please, do drop us a line, and we can see how we can help with that. But obviously, if people do misbehave, I mean, hopefully they won't, because it's the IUCN community, and whilst of course we welcome opposing opinions, because that's how we can move forward, isn't it? By having these discussions, we want this done in a polite and a nice manner. But obviously, if it does get out of hand, we do reserve the right to block people from the platform. But if there are any concerns, just drop a line to engage@iucn.org, and we receive that, and we can get in touch with you and help if there are any issues.
Thanks, Sarah. Brilliant. Really nice way to start our meeting with such a positive initiative. Very useful. Thank you. Perhaps you continue in the same positive terminology, and let's talk about Unite for Nature.
Yes, so Unite for Nature is another. We're not satisfied with just the platform. We want another way to engage with members, and this is slightly more just member focused, and that is a magazine for members, which we will be calling Unite for Nature, as you've just mentioned, Chris. Chris also has and Katrine have been involved in the early stages of this project. So this new magazine, which will be published twice a year, usually around May and November, to coincide with IUCN Council meetings. This year, because it's the launch, obviously we won't be ready in time for May, so we're hoping to launch. We will launch the first issue in July, and it's just it's a way to sort of give a voice to members, to have a different look on some of the work that we're doing, in a more layman's terms, as opposed to very scientific, because a lot of the work that we do publish at IUCN is extremely scientific, and it doesn't always sit easy, or it's not easily read by everyone. And so we've had a call for content to go out to members. What we've done is we're working with an external publisher, so they're helping us writing the articles, they're editing everything. Obviously, we have there's an editorial board which meets regularly to discuss topics and themes, just to make sure that everything is staying relevant to the work of the union. And so they have been speaking to a number of members and other parts of the union to write the first set of articles. I've seen a couple of them, and so yes, we can strongly encourage members to drop a line to the editor. I'm happy again to share his details in the chat. If they have ideas of topics that they'd like covered in future issues. I think it's done for this issue, but of course we want to have many more. We're going to publish a few hard copies, but it'll be it's really, the idea is for it to be a digital magazine, you know, one of these page turner ones like on Issue and things like that. And yeah, that's it. That's the general idea. So looking forward to the first issue coming out in July.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any rushes to share with you, but I can tell you that it looks pretty good. It's a very modern interpretation of a magazine. You can dip in and out of it. It's very, very well put together and very well designed. So I think you'll all enjoy it very much. DJ first, please.
Thanks, Sarah. That's really exciting about the magazine. I just wondered if, so I guess with every issue that comes out, will there be a call for members to submit their stories or submit things that they find interesting?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that we'll do that regularly. Obviously, you know, we can't always guarantee that everyone who submits an idea will have theirs selected, and there's also, it's not, you know, it's not a per issue call, so there might be something that we're planning further down the line that'll go in. But yes, the regular reminders will go out, whether it's a specific email or there'll be also there'll be a reminder in the magazine itself, but on the digest as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's just for me to know when to remind my own members here of like when are the good times to remind them, because I obviously know the busy months here in Belgium and ones where things are a bit quiet, where people can actually put together their stories. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea also is, I mean, for them not to submit a complete article, you know, just an idea, because then they can speak with the editors and the writers, and then they can then ask for the specific information, because what we don't want is for people to spend ages preparing something and then actually it's not, you know, it's not right and they've wasted a lot of their time. So best just to submit an idea. They can then have a chat with the editors and then provide whatever information they need, which will be, you know, much more time helpful.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Alex. Then Stephen.
Well, perhaps my hand was still on from the previous time, but I do have a question. Well, maybe a little bit silly thought. As always, again, back here in non-English, Spanish and French-speaking part of the world, it's always a bit hard to get members who are doing brilliant work, but they usually don't have special time, people to do some articles or whatever, stories for their IUCN magazines, etc. My experience shows that much easier is possible to get this information just through making a kind of interview. But of course, it's the case of human resource who can make that interview, etc. Well, just because Chris named me, I started to think about what can we do, how we can find the way of serving members who are not that easy in delivering information, in order to make, have a more kind of harmonized information flow from all over the world, from the whole IUCN family.
Yes,
So
thanks,
it's not a
Alice.
question, it's more like a thought.
thought. Yeah, no, and I just like, yes, I agree with that. I mean, also, I didn't mention, but we are trying to ensure that we have a good balance, of course, of regional representation and representation of members across the different categories, because you know, we need it to be, you know, of interest to everybody. And I agree with the interview. That's why I was mentioning, if you, I mean, even if you think that there are members who you know, who have some interesting stories, then get them to write, or you can write and give us the details, and then the publishers, the editors, will get in touch with them and speak with them, and so that they have an idea of how the article will look, and whether it might not necessarily done on a sort of interview type format, but it will be a discussion, and then they will ask the member to submit any other extra information that they need, and then they will write the article and then send it to the member for them to check and approve and edit and, you know, comment on. So that's very much how they like to work, because we understand, of course, that everyone has a lot on their plate. Thank you.
And Stephen.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. A very interesting initiative. I welcome this. It's really good. From how I've heard it described, it says a voice to members, and it's sort of a voice for members. I wondered if you'd thought about using it as an opportunity to really build engagement or understanding of IUCN outside the IUCN community, because obviously there's going to be a lot of resource going into it. So I think there's a real opportunity, and I'm sure you've thought about it, but an opportunity to really get the message out there. If it's Unite for Nature, we should be uniting with nature or on nature outside of IUCN. You know, preaching to the unconverted, non-converted, and I think maybe I don't know, interacting with the multilateral environmental agreements, it could be a real opportunity to get some really good think pieces in there about, you know, the role of IUCN in delivering, you know, the objectives of, you know, obviously CBD, but Ramsar, CMS, etc. It could be a way of also getting some high level input from the MEAs, for example. You know, maybe there's, you know, an opportunity, you know, in every other edition or something to have a sort of a theme relating to, you know, one of the MEAs. And I think that the increase in the opportunities of building the interaction of IUCN with the MEA community and the international community, and showing how IUCN works, you know, is an opportunity. So yeah, just some points there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Stephen. And I mean, I think that's also one of the reasons, apart from sort of time constraints, is why we've gone with you know, with an external company to do it, because we are quite you know, egocentric, if you like, when we write, and it does tend to be extremely scientific. But if we can get it into a more an easier to understand language, then I agree. And I mean, we don't need to tell our community what needs to be done, and it's true, it's by extending the understanding outwards that it will help us grow. So yeah, I like that. I'm going to add that to my our possible themes going forward. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sure we've all been asked, what's IUCN and what's this organisation you work with or a part of, and it's just nice to be able to pass them on a link to a magazine that explains some of the dynamics in it. Excellent. And we have that big 10 billion engagement target, don't we, that we got out of the last leaders forum. Anyway, next one is an update on contributions for nature, please.
Yes. So we're moving forward with that. We're almost at 10,000 contributions. We've got only, however, about 130 members who contributed, so we need to up that. We've had quite a few bugs recently, I'll be honest with you, which we are getting sorted. We're having a look at, and whilst we've been sorting those, we haven't really been pushing engagement with the national committees and with members to get people to add that. But I think we're coming to the end now of that cycle, so we'll be contacting members again. I've done some work with them, with the Korean National Committee. I'm going to be doing some stuff with the Japanese National Committee as well. And in the regions, there is interest. So whenever we do mention it to members, that they are keen. My sort of big block, if you like, is making sure that we actually reach the right people, because from the Secretariat's side, whenever we write to members, we have our we have our primary contact, and that person isn't going to necessarily be the person who has the technical info. And so I think we might have to start picking up the phone a bit more. I know that's a massive, it's a massive job, because 1,500 members. But I really think that if we want to ensure that we reach the right people, that sort of one-to-one personal contact is going to have to happen. But I would like to obviously work with the national committees on that front, because you're the interface with us. So in terms of getting the info, I'll just reiterate the fact that we've really sort of minimised the fields that are required, and we actually only ask for 3 fields that are compulsory. Obviously encourage more. There are 8 fields in total, so once you know what those are, it shouldn't, I think, I'm not a project person, but I think that someone, whoever holds the information should be able to access that and make a list, so that when you go into the platform, you have all the information there, and you're not having to scurry off and look for it. But yes, we've got a target on that one for October to have 70% of the members who have actually input there in at least one project. And it would be nice to be able to achieve that, because it is a nice way for members to show the work that they're doing, which then of course contributes to the work of the union as a whole.
Okay. Is there a good time for us to have a push within national committees for you?
I mean, yeah, I mean, well, if we've got a meeting, an update on Friday with the team leads on the platform. We haven't had one for a month, because obviously it was Easter last time. So we'll get an update on what's going on in terms of bug fixes, and once we can see things are running, pretty smoothly again. There are always going to be bugs on these platforms. There's always something, but once we get that going again, I think it's a good opportunity as we start speaking also of the RCFs, because it is we can tie that in into the work, and it is about our work. So I think I'll definitely let when we're ready to go full speed ahead again.
Another push, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be IUCN without bugs, would it?
No, exactly.
Alex, is that a legacy hand or is it a new hand? No, it's an old
I don't
hand.
know why my hand is still on. I think I already put it
There you
on.
go. Okay, it's done now. Good. Any questions for Sarah on contributions for nature? Very keen that it becomes a regional priority for us, so that we can show that there's a lot going on in Europe and North and Central Asia too. Okay, and finally then, you can rest your voice after Global Directory of National and Regional Committees.
Okay, I will share my screen with you again. So the person I had helping me with this has left, so but it's okay, because I'll just like to
Welcome,
show you
Bill Moss, while we're waiting.
Where we are. So so obviously we wanted to make it look nice. Can you see my screen?
Yes, can.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
So we've
we
got good old Canva is what I've resorted to. And I mean, what we're missing mainly now are the images, but just to give you an idea of what it will be like. Don't worry about this map thing looks messy, but we'll be putting the maps that relate obviously to our regions, but just to give you an idea. Actually, let me make it a bit smaller, hang on, so that you can see the pages as a whole. it's probably quite small on your screens, but basically the intro is similar to what we had previously. So we'll be there's the intro about IUCN, about the why have committees, the other groups and networks that we actually have. Some information about how to join, the toolkit, things like that, and then we go into the pages for the for the committees themselves. So as I've just mentioned, don't worry about the white, because there will be images in there to make the pages look interesting. But then it's just there's some editing to be done. Some items are very, very long, but then it will be listing them on a page per region, per committee basis, because previously it was quite difficult if there were any amendments. It sort of threw the whole design of the brochure. So this time I've just gone for 1 page per committee, which will also allow everyone a little more room to expand as they give us updates. And then that's it. So once I've added the images, I've now got another colleague helping me to download images. So once we've dropped the images and made the pages look nice, that'll be ready to go up on the website. It's very long. It's 87 pages. There's a lot of there's a lot of information on there. Oh, I've lost the page now. Hang on, where have I gone? Oh, there we are. So I've got someone's full-time dedicated now, another colleague. So he's working on all the images. We can drop those in, and then I can share the link with you. I have read through all the information that's been said and been sent. I'll share the link with you, and you can obviously let me know any edits, but it should be fine to go up on the website really very soon now.
Okay, thank you. Excellent progress. Yeah. Again, well, is there anything that you need from us in terms of updates or?
I mean, most of you on the call have submitted updates to each of the national committees. Of course, if you ever get the opportunity to mention it, and if there are updates in the meantime, now that we've got a page per committee and we have the original files, we'll be able to drop any updates in, if there are activities and what have you that you're all organising, because obviously the info that we've got in this one comes from, between October last year and January this year. So there may be other things you want to add, but then that link will go onto the website where the latest version, the other version is now. So share that. Let me know if you spot any, of course, and if you spot any errors or things you want changed, or if you want to submit any more images, then just let me have all of that information, and I'll drop those in as and when I can.
Excellent. And a launch date projected?
My God, I've given you so many launch dates now. I really want this out there. So honestly, really, this has to be out within the next 2 weeks. I'd like to say this week, but we've got a couple of other things going on which are taking my time. So, but absolutely by the end of April at the absolute latest.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we can all promote it as soon as it's out, I'm sure.
Great, thanks for that. I'm sorry it's taken so long.
Well, it's a never-ending task, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because things do change.
Yeah, yeah.
But excellent to have it nearing completion.
Yeah, I'll be very pleased when it's out there on the website.
Well done, thank you, Sarah. Super update, really positive kick-off to our meeting. Any questions for Sarah on any of the things that she's talked about so far?
May I just ask Sarah for the link to the Russian National Committee part, because I think I haven't seen it.
Okay, yes, I'll send you
just to check whether they made the updates.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'll send that to you now, and then and then if you want to make any edits, that's fine. And just one other thing linked to that, we may need to well, it depends what happens now with the various reporting requirements, but obviously this will be a nice space to have everything for the committees to report what needs to be reported to the DG, whatever happens going forward with that one. But rather than you guys having to fill everything in twice, we could perhaps think about using this as the one-stop shop and then it would make it would sort of give a different feel to the brochure. But anyway, that's just something for down the line.
Yes. Excellent. Okay, can't see any other hands up, so thank you, Sarah.
Okay, pleasure.
For all of your efforts, and do give our thanks to associated colleagues in the Secretariat.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item 9 then, and events update. I don't think we have Ruben on the call with us. Ruben, our colleague from Armenia. Really just to say that the event plan for October, as part of the Sunchild Festival, you'll remember we've been talking about this for quite a few months now. That's all going ahead nicely. The save the date message has gone out, and I hope you all received a message accompanying the details, asking you to promote it within your National Committee membership, because we do need information, we do need expressions of interest, and where possible the short survey that accompanied the message. It's also details are available on the IUCN website, and the link to that is in the chat. So it's out there. We have a venue confirmed now, and some accommodation with reduced prices also soon to be confirmed and available. And the next stage really is to start confirming a program, and we're building the program as a result of the expressions of interest and the completion of the survey. So we've got about 6 weeks, I think, to get a next draft program together to circulate that. We've had a fair bit of interest from the commissions already, so it looks like it will be an interesting event. DJ, anything else to add? In particular, you, because you're in charge of the IUCN website.
Nothing that you haven't said before. I've just also put a link to the survey directly in the chat if people want to participate. But it's I think it's quite an interesting survey. We've already had 25 responses, and I think it'll be interesting to also share here, once the survey is closed, the responses from different members of what are the topics that are important to them. I think the responses of the survey are actually really important to this group, and also the IUCN group.
Thank you very much. We've got a very, very good group of members helping to put this together, and colleagues in Armenia being extremely welcoming and friendly. So I'm looking forward to a very positive event there. Anything more from you, Anne-Catherine? No? Okay, cool. Simon, you have a...
Yeah, I just wanted to, I mean, doesn't matter what you organize, there's always going to be something on the same date. I don't know if you're aware, but the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, just announced the same dates as the SBSTA, the scientific body, is going to have their meeting exactly on those dates in October also. So I don't know how many people will conflict, but it should be aware that that might be a conflict. As I said, no matter what dates you choose, there's always going to be something. But it should be aware.
Yes, thank you. And also the Leaders Forum, the next Leaders Forum will be just before the 13th. I think it's the 11th to the 13th in Geneva. So yeah, we have a clash there. I think yeah, it will be a choice, but I'm hoping that the communities of interest will be slightly different, and you know, hopefully there is more than one person in an organisation who can attend things, but we'll see. as you say, there are always clashes. We'll just have to make our programme as interesting, or even more interesting, than some of our competitors. Super. I think we've lost Maud off the call. Is that right? Maud, are you there? I think not. Sebastian, are you able to speak on Maud's behalf on the IUCN 75th anniversary arrangement? Is that possible?
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Thank
In fact, we have moved on with a discussion with the French government, with the mayor of Fontainebleau, and with members. So we are still engaged to organize a special event for the 75th anniversary of IUCN in Fontainebleau. We would like to couple this special day with a previous meeting of the IUCN Council 2 or 3 days before, and to have the presence of a different councillor in IUCN, the president, maybe the new DG, because it will be in mid-November, and to have this special event at Fontainebleau. But IUCN French member, French government, Mayor of Fontainebleau are very keen to have this event of celebration. And as Boris said before, it will surely not be the unique event during this year, but it's a special event for us because Fontainebleau is the place of birth of IUCN, and we want to have this special occasion here in France.
I think it's a really nice idea, and I'm very pleased that it's in November and not October, because it's a crowded month. But excellent. And is there anything you'd like us to do as national committees at this stage, or will you let us know if you would like us to promote it amongst members?
We have to finalize all the logistics and the details to see how many people we can invite, and we're also discussing with the French government and to know what kind of space will be available and how much people we can invite.
Okay, so not yet. Excellent. Well, very best of luck with all of the arrangements. I'm sure.
Thank you.
Quite a big event to organise.
Yes.
Okay. The only other event I have on the list there is the Leaders Forum, which I mentioned earlier on. Will be in Geneva apparently in October. I think the 11th to the 13th. I don't know what the theme might be for that, but no doubt we'll be informed. And I guess it might be the Director General's leaving party at the end of the day, but we shall see how all of that progresses. Okay, any questions on events from anyone? This is your opportunity to ask any questions. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, let's move on then to item 10. We're doing well for time. And can I thank you, those of you who've submitted written paragraphs on updates from your national committees. It really does help with the minute taking if we can just report those. And I can ask you to speak to them. Shall we go for so it's the UK. Stephen, have you received the report as part of the? No, you may not have. Okay. Well, if you don't mind, I'll do the summary, and you can fill in anything I've missed. So I think we've mentioned before the UK committee has established a number of working groups which reflect the work of the commissions. So we have 4 operational working groups, one for each of 4 commissions: protected areas, ecosystem management, education and communication, and species survival commission. And what those working groups are doing is taking the tools, the guidance, the standards and the strategy of IUCN and its commissions and trying to apply them in a national context. Some of the ways we've been doing that is through webinars, through government consultation responses, and we've even had a joint meeting between the Protected Areas Working Group and a Danish National Committee, which has been a very good example of how we can share information. And I think these working groups are working well for us as a model, and I'm very happy to talk to you more about that if it's of interest to you. We also have our annual general meeting of UK members coming up in May. So we are addressing our governance function. Lots going on, lots of business, and one of the benefits of using these working groups is it brings in more people. Sometimes we're a bit constrained by the numbers of representatives amongst members that we can, and through the working groups we have 25 to 30 new people, new experts that we can talk about delivering IUCN products in the UK. So these things are proving quite useful in a number of different ways. They raise the profile of the organisation and bring awareness of these new tools and guidance. Particularly, we're finding in the protected area sphere as the global biodiversity framework comes into operation. So making those overlaps between the two. Anyway, that's a little bit of progress from the UK. Stephen, do you want to add anything that I might have missed or been too brief on?
I think you've covered it, Chris. I mean, I guess what we'll try and do is it's also an opportunity for us to explain, you know, the new initiatives that are going on in IUCN as well out to a wider community or a wider range of members. As Chris said, the members are well, there are more people now engaged with our national committee work, which is really exciting. So it's building a big momentum or a larger momentum, and I think we're trying to raise the profile, for example, of the Nature Contributions platform, and showing how different members can contribute to that from our Protected Areas Working Group or from our Ecological Restoration Working Group as well. So we're looking for synergies with IUCN knowledge products as well. So, but yeah, I think you've covered everything, Chris. And I think, I don't know, since the last meeting, we've held our 100th and now 101st meeting. So National Committee's sort of going strong, going back to the 1990s. So we're really pleased that you know, it's being seen as a really important mechanism for members to engage, and as I always say, it's the democracy of IUCN and the link that we have in our committee between our government and non-government members, which is really you know, a unique selling point, using it through the IUCN lens. So yeah, that's a really good model that we have, I think.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, and just one more thing on the webinars. We're finding that attendance to webinars is really pretty good, in particular through the Education and Communication Network. And our next one, I hope most of you are on our mailing list for a MailChimp communication, and I will have shared with you the next webinar, which is called Conserving Conservationists, and it's about mental well-being and coping with eco-anxiety and other stresses of being a conservationist. So it's a really interesting dimension that we can reach with our new webinars. Okay, let's carry on with our Spanish colleagues. Jesus.
Hi, thank you, Chris. Okay, I use my notes. So first, I would like to talk about a conference that we held with the regional governments to talk with them about the forest fires in Spain. This was very interesting, and we have a lot of representatives of regional governments. On the other hand, we have the first of a series of meetings that we would like to have in all the Spanish regions in order to explain then what is, we try to engage NGOs, governments, regional governments, main town halls, in order to explain them what is doing IUCN in the regions, because we want they know the work of our members, and they have to. We want to give them the opportunity to think about to be a member. This week we are part of a congress that we are organizing about renewable energies in Spain. A very interesting, delicate issue in Spain. We will have a general assembly next in May. We also in May we would like to have a webinar about the contribution platform, because we have the WGNCD with the other Spanish speaker all around the world, and this is an opportunity to work together to know more about the platform. We are going to work with the staff from the Mediterranean and from the office in America. So I think this is going to be very useful and interesting. Also with the WGNCD, we are trying to engage to the Survival Species Commission, John Paul, in a webinar, because we would like to have the opportunity to talk to them, and they explain more of the role of the commission, the objectives, what they do, other things, and how to engage members, how to collaborate with the commission. And finally, yes, okay, we have been, as a committee, this is something new for us, we have been invited to give an hour of environmental conservation in Spain. So we are working with one of our members, one foundation. They have this hour for a lot of time, but this is the first time that they want the committee have the entity that gives the hour. So we have appointed to all the Spanish rangers that are working very hard in nature conservation, fires, and so on. And this is all. Thank you.
It's not all, it's plenty. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. And when we circulate the reports in the minutes, you'll find some links to some of the things that Jesus has been talking about. Okay. Is there anyone here from Switzerland?
No, she's not participating. Participating today.
Okay. So the Swiss National Committee are arranging a conference on subsidies harmful to nature on the 11th of May. And again, there will be a link in the minutes for you to connect to more information on that. And the morning is dedicated to the situation in Europe, which could interest colleagues. And they have speakers from the OCDE, Italy, France, and Germany that will talk about the situation with subsidies. So pernicious subsidies, I suspect, for agriculture, etc. Fabulous. And Matti is here. Matti, to join us from Finland.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Good. Sorry, my camera is not working, but well, our main task was during the last months to prepare messages for the new cabinet. You know that we had a parliamentary election in the early April, and they are now just the parties are in a process to build a program for the new cabinet. So it was a quite an exercise, because it's only for the NGO members who prepared those messages, because felt those who have government duties felt that they are not in a position to join this. So our main message was to stress the main parts of the Kunming-Montreal framework. Let's see what's going to happen, because the result of the election was that the Conservative Party was the winner and the right-wing populist was second one, and if they will be the main part of the next cabinet. Maybe the actions for the nature conservation are not so popular. So let's see, and we have to see that what is the next cabinet, and think that what our national cabinet and national committee will take on board in our activities next. So that's in short. Thanks.
Thank you, Matti, and the best of luck with organising your cabinet. Very good that they come to you for advice. Let's move to Denmark next. Anne-Katrine, please.
Yes, hello. So I don't have that much to report on, but I can tell you that the Danish National Committee is kind of reconsolidating itself. So we're working on different things, which include creating a website, which we haven't got. We're a fairly small national committee, and I know that not many of the small national committee has websites, but we've now reached a point where we think it's important that we have one. We're also working on our work program, and we're going to be focusing on nature-based solutions in the coming year. And what we're doing to kind of get more members involved in the National Committee is also making a working group who will be working on the nature-based solutions theme. And we're going to have a theme day in autumn, where we're going to provide workshops and seminars for the kind of whole IUCN community in Denmark. So we're trying to kind of, like you're doing in the UK, get more people involved, or more members involved, and hopefully that will also kind of expose IUCN to more people in Denmark. And also, I want to say that it was very useful for the Protected Areas group to meet with the UK group, because it's so nice to have some knowledge sharing, but also to get ideas and just knowing that we're kind of on the right track. So really useful.
Yeah, we learnt a lot from you as well. And maybe there are other opportunities to do similar things between other national committees. Perhaps we should have a discussion about that sometime. Okay, thank you, Anne-Katrine. Can we ask Corrado to speak from Italy, please?
Thank you, Chris. So I'm just going through the point I wrote in our report, adding just that we have some months of let's say, changing phase, since on one hand the Ministry of the Environment has changed the organization, the arrangement, even the name, but it's not so important, but for the email addresses that are changed. So we had also some problem with the IUCN because of the this change. And we had also internally, as you know, I work for Federparchi, that is the Italian Association of Parks and Natural Reserves, and we have now a new president. And so Federparchi, as you know, also manage the secretariat of the IUCN Italian committee. So we are just organizing our work in order to inform our new president. I will have a meeting tomorrow with him. He's on board since the beginning of March. So tomorrow we will have a meeting during which I will go to speak with him and to explain him what is our role, what is IUCN. He is also president of a national park that has been also awarded with the green list, so he's quite familiar with the IUCN, but anyway, not as Federparchi president. And talking about our activities in Italy, as you know, we are involved since perhaps 12 years ago in the red lists, and we have just released the first reassessment of the Italian vertebrates. So we have a new an updated red list of the Italian vertebrates, but we are working also in the Ministry of the Environment start to work some years ago on the red list of ecosystems, and we should be able in the next months, next weeks, to work and to make more available, and also doing some publication about the results of the Italian red list of ecosystems. We are also engaged in the green list and IUCN, and we are the Italian jurisdiction, and also we are under the control, let's say so, of the Malaga program office, IUCN office, and so they should close in the next weeks as well the process of selecting the new EAGLE, the new group of assessor of the green list in the jurisdiction. And so we are going to organize also a meeting with the Italian members, inviting also the member of the expert assessment group for green list in order to know them, and so to start working together and again on green list. And also we started just to plan a national database, a sort of database, a national list of projects mainly focused on pollinators and alien species, and we are going to start with the project managed by IUCN members, but our idea is just to collect all the best practices and project financed by European Union or financed by themselves. It's not important on these two issues, pollinators and alien species. The last point on which we are, and also the Ministry of the Environment is engaged, is the fulfillment of the, let's say, of the threshold and then goals of the EU biodiversity strategy, mainly on percentage of protected areas. So one project, one idea, one process will be just to identify areas under the category of OECM in order to add areas that more are protected and managed, but they are not really protected areas. So the idea is just to enlarge, to increase the percentage of protected areas, just working on this issue that is promoted by IUCN also. And just one comment about something else that could be interesting for you, but also for the Commission, we are in contact, or perhaps the commission, the Species Surveillance Commission, appointed one member, one expert, one Italian expert, in order to be, let's say, the link, the person that will follow. It will be the link with the national committee in order to understand what the committee is doing and how the commission can work with the committee, with the members, and so on. From our point of view, it is a good idea, since one of our perhaps our weakest point is just to collaborate with commission, with experts, and so on. And so perhaps we are going to ask also to other commission to appoint, to select, to ask some expert just to be part of the committee in order to create, to be informed, and to inform and to create a link of communication with the commission and with the Italian experts as well. And more or less, it's all. It's all. I don't know if Susanna should be on on board. I don't know if she wants to add something, but feel free to add something. Okay.
So Alex has a hand up.
Corrado, thank you very much. But just to your last point about the commissions and the members, what we find in the commissions quite often, that, for instance, my commission on education and communication, that good communicators and educators from the active member organizations are not members of are not the experts in the commissions. So one of the ways is just to encourage the member organization to have their experts becoming members of the commissions, and then it may help to kind of strengthen that side of the union. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. This is one of the ideas, just to engage one expert in order to find more people. And for example, from parks, there are a lot of people that are really good in communication. For example, one of the members of the Italian IUCN committee is also the National Guides Association, so they could be, many of them could be members of your commission, and we hope that they will be.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. This is a direct result of resolution H or F. Is it H or F?
I can't remember, but it's true. It's from the motion that became a resolution, and yeah, because this happened in Denmark as well.
So each of the commissions should be appointing a representative that can be invited to the governance meetings of each national committee. So we have received a suggestion from the Species Survival Commission as well. We have two representatives from SSC, and we're currently having a conversation about what that means if all 7 commissions start sending representatives to each of our meetings, and whether that's a useful use of time or not. But it is a governance function now through that resolution. So they are invited to speak, but not to vote, as I understand. And Katrine, you have your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to say that in Denmark, we've had 3 commissions represented in the National Committee for the last 3 years, and it's worked really well because it's a way of getting especially the knowledge products from the Commission kind of more known to the rest of the membership. And so I would say it's really an added value. They can be part of discussions, but they can't vote. But they would definitely a big part of promoting what could be useful in a national context. So definitely, I think it's a good thing.
Thank you, Anne-Catherine. And Jesus is talking in the chat about Commission representatives in Spain also. So it's happening. Maybe we should have a bit of a matrix to understand where the gaps are and what's still to happen. But, okay. So still on National Committee reports then, could we go to Israel? Simon, you're still here? Thank you.
Yeah,
Simon.
yes, thank you. Hi, Chris. As other mentioned, our committee, our membership is actually rather small. We have a lot of IUCN members who are active in the commissions, like especially the species survival, but we don't have very many organizations that are members of the IUCN as organization members. The country's not a member, but our government agency, our conservation agency that I'm part of, is a member. So we're not member as a country. What we've been trying to do is to contact other organizations that are have active members in IUCN in the commissions to see if about possibly joining as members. Almost all of these are NGOs, so it wouldn't necessarily be a great of monetary benefit to IUCN, but it would increase the membership numbers. We have a new Director General of our organization, and we're hoping that she'll be able to attend the World Commission on Protected Areas has a leadership forum of protected area organizations, and hopefully she'll be able to attend that forum later this year. In terms of the RCF, I do want to inform you that we got the invitation about hosting it in 2024, and we're looking very seriously at the possibility of submitting a proposal. I don't want to raise expectations too high. Boris had asked me personally about possibly Israel hosting the Conservation Forum, and we're looking into it. But we won't have an answer, at least for the next few weeks. And if we do, of course, it'll be before the deadline of the end of May. In terms of other IUCN issues, we do want to stress that one of the things is that we've been very much involved using the IUCN red list guidelines for creating Israeli red lists of species. And this has been something that has been very much in use by our agency, and we've just now been in the process of redoing these and updating our regional, or rather our local IUCN criteria for for the species of vertebrates. So we're doing the birds, and we're doing the reptiles and the mammals. And these are being updated all the time and are now on a website. So this has been very useful for us and has been part of our work. But in terms of actual, as a national committee, I can say that we need to update or upgrade our push to try and get more organizations members of the IUCN as member organizations. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Simon. And I hope some of these new initiatives we've heard about today, the Global Directory, the new magazine, the Engage interface, they're all good things to entice new members with, aren't they?
Yes, it's excellent. If I have the floor, I'd just take the chance to say I was really excited to see the new website, the Engage. It sounds really exciting, and certainly, as you said, Chris, it can be a way of enticing more people to see what it's done. There is, of course, always the language issue, since most people work in Hebrew, and Hebrew is not one of the official languages. But with that translation button, even though it's a Google Translate, which isn't always the best, it does make it easier for people to to follow and to hopefully get a gist of what's going on.
Absolutely. Maybe we should look at that Google option for the magazine as well. Don't know if that's possible technically, but anyway. Great, thank you, Simon. That's a really upbeat report from Israel. Thanks for your interest in the RCF too. That's really good news. Alex, Russia and CEC.
Well, on CEC or the Russian National Committee?
Both.
Well, I'll try both, and we'll try not to speak too long. First, I just want to agree with Simon about the excitement about, how to say, the new resource and making the with this Engage and the Google Translator to making, how to say, the resources of the IUCN much more open and accessible for the rest of the world, including my region, and I'm really looking forward. Well, if to talk about the Russian National Committee, you can imagine that this year is a really kind of year of a very difficult context, especially for the NGO members. We don't have many members. There are only 7 members in Russia, but Russia is a state member as well. But for the NGOs, we got a completely dramatic changes of the working landscape, especially with the connections with the other partners, with most of the transboundary projects being at full stop because of the requirements to the especially European members not to have projects with the Russian organizations. And that actually made, how to say, the life of several NGO members quite difficult. So the National Committee was being led by the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources of Russia as a state representative, was trying to, how to say, to maintain the ongoing activities, mainly focused on the issues of the red listing and development of protected areas and support to protected areas. We finalized the list of red listed, of rare and endangered plants, the federal list, and we are using now 2 options: the national categories, but also the IUCN categories were applied. The reason we use 2 categories is that the red list in Russia has the value of a federal law. So according to the legislation, those species which are included into the officially adopted list, they get, how to say, the full protection by the federal law, and this law is still based on the national categories. But many colleagues, experts from the species survival commissions and representatives from the member organizations were working hard to have, to my understanding, quite good coordination between the Russian national system and the the IUCN system. And another options and other activities are associated with the development of protected areas and different systems of support to protected areas, of bringing volunteers, supporters, and others, including some additional training to the newcomers and so on. And here we have quite good examples, for instance, from the my organization. I belong to the Russian Nature Conservation Society, which have been focusing quite actively on the system of regional protected areas. And I think that now in Leningrad region, which is the area surrounding St. Petersburg, we have basically all regional protected areas well equipped for education and communication purposes and for nature tourism. And this is an example which we are promoting through the National Committee to other regions and other members in Russia. But basically that's it. We don't have that much of say, of development yet, because we have to understand the consequences of the changes which are going on so far. Regarding the Commission on Education and Conservation, just recently we had the face-to-face meeting in Goa of the steering committee, and I think we're able to discuss and develop quite solid and perspective program for the Commission, continuing development the issues of Nature for All as an initiative together with the WCPA, and which is bringing together all sorts of the organizations having projects which are bringing people into nature or using nature as a educational tools at different levels. We also discussed the initiative which is called the Reimagine Conservation, and it must be launched quite soon. How to say, the details of what the Commission is planning to do, and of course one of the major emphasis was also made on, how to say, overcoming the certain weakness or resource to be developed, the interlinkage between the commissions and member organizations and secretariat and the committees, national and regional, on how Commission can better serve the needs of the Union, of the other parts of the Union, bringing the individual experts and, how to say, accumulated expertise in the fields of communication, both within, and I would say mainly at this point within the Union, because the communication out of the resources, etc., is going on. However, the services within the Union are to be further thought of and better developed. So these are, I think, the major outcomes which we have from the meeting, and well, I'll be happy to answer questions if you have any.
Thank you, Alex. Any questions for Alex? There is a hand up. Sarah.
Hi, sorry. Thanks for that, Alex. Just a quick question on the capacity building. Is that, you said that you're doing it through the National Committee. Is that, do you build then the trainings, or how's that done? Or because the reason I'm asking is that capacity building is something that always comes up as what people want more of, and I'm just wondering how, if you've done it through working then with the commissions, with the protected areas commissions, or if it's something that you've developed yourselves, or how do you build the training?
You mean the training I was mentioning under the Russian National Committee?
Yes.
On the level of the National Committee is more like the information spreading from the members.
Okay.
So there are active members like the Zapovednik's Ecological Center, which have been, well, you may know Natalia Danilina, she was a IUCN counselor. She's the head of that organization, and they were on the market with the different training activities for various kinds of people groups, from the protected area staff and from potential volunteers and younger people who are interested, or at least having an interest in delivering some good things for the protected areas. So they are constantly designing and arranging training, including, for instance, training for trainers. That's what we actually did through the National Committee in promoting this, I would say, on the level of the country. So the National Committee at this point is more kind of the source of information delivery from one organization to another within the members. So,
great, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Very good. If no more questions for Alex, could we go to Sebastian for an update on the French National Committee? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Some highlights of our last action. The first one is that we have published, like Harvest Committee, I noticed the interest of the IUCN Red List, and we published the first assessment on spiders in France. So we have 170 species that are threatened in France, which represent about 10% of a number of all species present in France mainland, metropolitan France. We have also published new works on nature-based solution and natural risk in forest to show example and project made by members to avoid, to diminish the risk of landslide, avalanche, rockfalls, fires in forest, and to show that we can protect and restore forest ecosystem to fight against this risk. We also published some recommendation on the planning of offshore wind projects. We have made 7 strategic recommendations for incorporating biodiversity into environmental assessment. And the good news is that the publication is not only available in French but also in English now, so I can send it to you. And we have also organized a conference on wildlife trafficking in order to reinforce regulation and also the cooperation between members in France and members of countries in the south, mainly in Africa. We will held our General Assembly in June. We were starting to prepare it, and we are also waiting for the new update of the National Biodiversity Strategy of France. The Ministry of Environment is working on it. The goal of the update is to incorporate the main goals of the new Global Biodiversity Forum in the strategy, and there will be a consultation during one month, and we will participate to this consultation. We will consult our members and experts to make some recommendation on this update and of this new strategy. That's all for the main points. We have many others like protected areas and like was mentioned, we are working also on the OECM, on the green list, on the red list of ecosystems, but these are the main last point. Thank you.
There is much to do. Thank you. Great stuff. Okay, I think that's apart from Vilmos in Hungary.
And
Vilmos,
Belgium.
And Belgium. Let's go to Vilmos first, please. Any news from the Hungarian National Committee?
Okay, thank you. Do you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
It's okay. Sorry, I was late because I had some problems with this program.
Okay.
I learned a bit about this. Is now operating. Thank you for your tolerance. Our national committee is, I must say, is not really working. It's sleeping, and the best to say this. Well, we have five members, including the ministry, which is responsible for nature conservation. And well, okay, we work together in other means, not under IUCN flag. That's the truth. We would need some resources for that and the support from the ministry. And I must say you that there are big problems with our on policy level, because the natural resources also the cultural resources and human resources are being regarded in the big policy or politics, let's say, but I think it's just policy as problem, you know, not as priority to build on, and this makes very difficult to survive at all. Also, I must say this on behalf of the ministry officials side as well, because they are very good friends with us, but the general authorization for the work is very vague. Same for the national parks and so on. And also the NGO community is being regarded as a sort of enmity. And I don't know how to get rid of this system. That's what I can say. What we would need a survival kit, I think. That's all. Sorry. Thank you for your understanding.
Thank you, Vilmos. And yeah, we maybe should have a conversation about how we can support you. Perhaps some of the initiatives that Sarah has mentioned will help provide a platform for the 5 members in Hungary. Even if it's a virtual platform, they can still talk to each other under an IUCN banner. But I suspect the problems you're experiencing are more institutional than practical. But perhaps we can have a conversation later.
Yes, thank you. Well, it would be nice. We must be independent. Yeah. I mean, we can't count on central support for running a really working national community. Sorry. Okay. And another solution. This is. Thank you.
Stephen, a solution?
Yeah. Hi, Vilmos. Nice to see you. Sounds very challenging. So have our sympathies. I'm sure. I'm just thinking about changing the mindset. Obviously, you'll have thought about this, but I'm wondering if there's anything anybody any country or any group of countries can do to try and help. Looking at the nature-based solutions and you saying the natural resources are being seen as a barrier rather than as a solution. And it's obviously a lot of mindsets need to be changed at the top for it to work better in your country. But if there's if there's anything we could do in terms of capacity building, or knowledge sharing, or how to explain the value of nature and natural resources, and protecting them, and how that's going to be much more beneficial to society and the economy, no doubt the environment in the future. Other country governments are thinking like that. So yeah, I'm just thinking if there's anything that IUCN can do as a community, in terms of sharing, nature-based solutions, policy, or if there is, capacity from or knowledge about how other countries go about, valuing their nature much better, within their political system. And maybe I'm talking outside the scope of what I should be talking about, but yeah, it's just we're a community here, so if there's anything you think we can help with, and if there's anything that the UK could do to try and help explain how to value their natural capital, for example, and to help governments really think and understand the importance of protecting nature. I'm sure we're all here to help. So please continue to outreach, and if you think there's anything that we can help you with, let us know. Thanks.
Thank you. Nice sentiments, Stephen. Thank you. Vilmos, do you want to come back?
Thank you, Stefan. What would be needed to us is really not much. A secretary or secretaries, half job, not more, who can independently organize, for example, the nature-based solutions program with the mutual participation of the members. That's it. This would be enough for us. Then the life would start an independent life would start in our country, because we can't think or count on a short term for a significant change in the governmental system. And we must stand on our legs, and then we can do something. We have plenty of ideas, you know, on the bookshelf,
sure.
and projects which are starving for surviving. You know, our job, for example, my organization, we lost our magazines, we lost our gallery, and so on and so on. I mean, what we could save is boardwalks, geological museum, and library. These are the main things what we could really save. The rest we just lost. The others could maybe say something similar, not exactly of this kind of conservation work, but other type, but the meaning or the message would be the same. Thank you.
Okay, we're coming up to our 2 hours, but Boris has both hands up. I can see 2 hands up for you.
I don't know how I managed it. Yeah,
I don't.
so it's a new feature. Yeah. No, I don't want to be overly ambitious. No, just to say that I really sympathize, Wilmot. I'm just thinking, again, as colleagues mentioned, so let's try to exercise a little bit the power of the union. So whatever we can do, I mean, I can easily pay a visit, and maybe we can bring in some other colleagues, and you just need to tell us or tell me how feasible it would be maybe to have a meeting with members, or even have a meeting at ministry, just to kind of raise attention about IUCN, share some of our knowledge and experience, and maybe have some traction then there, and to simply take it from there, and then we'll see where it leads us.
Yeah, which is exactly what we're doing in Armenia in October. So maybe next year we can come to Hungary.
Yeah, even before that, so kind of for me, paying a visit to Budapest or wherever in Hungary is not an issue at all.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting messages that that we're coming up to the end of our time. So let's take this further outside the meeting and just invite DJ to give the Belgian report, please.
Thanks, Chris. I'll be really quick. I guess the most relevant thing to talk about is our Belgian Members Day, which we're really happy and excited about. It's the first ever Belgian Members Day, and it looks like a full day with talks from a full information day from talks from different speakers across IUCN. So we're really happy to have Tom Brooks and Sonia here. Jean-Christophe V will be talking about IUCN commissions. So we're really hoping Boris is also going to be there to talk about the RCF and the World Congress. So we're really excited to engage members. We've had a lot of interest from Belgian stakeholders. So it's going to be a good day. It's on the 8th of May. And we're really happy about it. Thanks. Had to be quick.
Thank you, DJ. Good stuff. Yeah, looking forward to it. There is still a Vilmos hand up. Is that still a live one? Okay, I think it's not. Okay, thanks very much. The final item on the agenda, feedback from the Interregional Committee. Well, we've talked about the Armenia meeting already, so we can dispense with that. just to update you on an initiative of the global group, which might be relevant to what we've just been talking about. Ernesto Herrera from the Mesoamerica Regional Committee has agreed to chair a global group task force on civic spaces, slightly different to environmental defenders, but still about the rights and abilities of conservationists and conservation organisations to exist and thrive. So perhaps Vilmos, we could tap you into that group. Might be of interest to you also. There's a few people disappearing, so I'll say goodbye to them as they go. And also to mention that I've been approached by the National Committee of Japan, who's going to be sending a delegation to the UK to look at EU and UK agricultural policy. So there's some interest from another national committee from overseas. Perhaps we can have a get together with them in September. Can I just ask now if there is any other items of business that anyone wishes to raise before we finish? Our next meeting is in July, I think.
The 18th of July.
18th of July.
Yes.
Let's keep in touch in the meantime. Keep talking to each other. There's lots going on, and if we can support Sarah in all of her initiatives, I'm sure we will all benefit from that. Let's keep it going. Excellent meeting. Thank you very much indeed. Huge participation today. Really good to see you all. And we'll say goodbye until July. Have a nice spring.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
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 Yours.
Right, you've got to go.
Yes, I just got I've got 3 times 2-hour meetings today.
We'll go and get some lunch.
Yes, thank you,
Good
Chris.
job.
But
Thank
good
you.
meeting. It's
Yeah,
really
it's nice. It's nice, wasn't it? Lots
it
of
was really good.
vibrancy. Yeah.
Very
Okie
good.
dokie. See you
Yes.
soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.